In this video, you will see the process of glazing a set of aluminium bifold doors. We start by removing the beads. For this, you have to simply apply a little bit of pressure. He's tapping them out and they fall out quite easily. While you do this, try to keep them in some kind of order, so that later on you are able to recognise which is your left, your right, your top and your bottom bead. The second step consists of putting glazing packers at the bottom to support the glass. Effectively, what you want to achieve is a zigzag shape of the packers, so start by applying the packers at the bottom first. Once the first corner is done, we should always start at the bottom hinge corner, then proceed with packing to the top and then wedge the frame up at the top of the glass and pack it there. This will stop the door from dropping. You want the glass to be as tight as possible, but ensuring that it's not too tight that it breaks the glass. Once this part is done, you can then put the sides in correctly, and that ultimately traps the aluminium part of the door against the glass in its correct place. Then the glass should not be able to move. This is the most important part of the process. The next phase of the glazing process consists of putting the beads back in. If you keep the beads in order, then you can easily just clip them back in. You should start with the top and bottom beads first and then move on to the sides. You will notice that there is absolutely no gasket on the beads because we put the gasket into the frame afterwards. To make the procedure easier for us, we pre-cut our gaskets to the right size. Alternatively, you can cut them one at a time. As you can see, the gasket fits in quite easily. You slide it across to the top and ensure that it's pushed into the corner. The gasket has a tear-off strip on the back that reduces its thickness by about 1mm. This is useful if you have slight variations in the thickness of your glass units. Once you have the last gasket inserted, that means that the first door panel is completely glazed. Then you can move on to the next unit. You always start with the hinge side and work towards your handle. So, on the first door, we started packing from the bottom right hand corner up to the top left. On this door, we'll be doing the exact opposite, so we are packing from the top right down to the bottom left. Effectively, what we're doing is transferring the weight from the middle into the corners where we can support it, and the hinges will take all the weight. While putting the glass in, you use a packer to keep it away from the sides. As you can see, we are starting with the beads in exactly the same process as we did on the previous door. We do this for all 3 units. Now it's time to glaze the final door. The process for the last door may take slightly longer. You have to make sure that you can lift the handle free and easy, as well as making sure that the locking mechanism works perfectly. You may have to try it a few times and perhaps make some alterations until the handle lifts completely smooth. Also, the glass is slightly more difficult to get in because you have to avoid the door handle whilst lifting it in. Once you have finished toe annealing the last unit, you need to double check the handle to make sure that it moves freely both up and down, engaging the locking mechanism without catching. Once you feel confident that that is fine, just start glazing it and gasket it up, and in theory that's your door finished. The final step is to check that your doors are all working correctly. Open them fully, ensuring that when they're open, nothing falls backwards or leans in. This will mean that your doors are fully levelled. When pulling in the central door, you want to ensure that you don't hear anything grinding or clicking noises, because if you do, that means that the door is not correctly toe annealed and may need more adjustment. The final moment of truth, lift the handle. When the key turns, it means your door is fitted perfectly.